And we're ready. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, I see us. Hold on. Let me see how good it is. I see you. And let's see. And there's me. And we will make it big. Oh, hello. Good morning, everyone. Oh, it's afternoon. The day has gone by so fast.
It has.
So, if you are in the Facebook group and you are joining me, I see Bonita is here and Yolanda's here. Thank you guys for being here. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me and Theresa. Just
Testing.
yeah,
Testing 1, 2, 3.
please let me know that you can see us both and you can hear us because I definitely see us.
Mhm.
It's my hope that that everybody can hear us. Let me see. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me and Theresa. Yup, they can hear us.
Good, good.
Okay, well, I'm so excited um, to have you here. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Benita. I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you so much. And so there's a little lag between Facebook and what Theresa and I are doing, but I am watching both my phone and I am watching Theresa. So I am so excited that you guys are here with us today and entrusting us with your valuable time. We're hoping that this will go somewhere between 30 to 45 minutes. So I hope you're on your lunch and you're in a good place to maybe jot down some notes because Theresa is so knowledgeable and an amazing expert in her field with coaching and relationships and family and developing that bond between our young adults and our teenagers, which is so important and pivotal. I love relationships. You guys know me. You guys have been with me for a while, especially you guys who have been with me from day one. I am so in love with people who are in love with their relationships and who want to go deeper. A lot of times we don't know how. We don't know how to communicate. We don't know how to connect. And we really want to. We don't want to keep continuing down the same road that we were raised on. A lot of times we say, do as we tell our kids, do as I say, not as I do. And that's something that our parents repeat to us over and over again. But do we really, really, really want that to be the case? Because it really doesn't foster bonding or relationships. And for me, I am really into adults. I love kids. I honor them. I respect them. I love our teenagers. I know that they are our future. They are everything for us in this crazy narcissistic world that we have. And there's a lot about them that we don't understand. But a lot of you guys know that I have a 24-year-old daughter. She's 23. I have got to stop doing that. Because actually, I did, Theresa, I do the same thing to myself. I just told somebody I was 25, and today the census guy came by and he was like, "Oh, if you was born in 75, you're 44." And I'm like, hmm, I like the number. So anyway, you guys, this is Theresa King.
Hi,
She
everybody.
owns King Concepts. She owns a program called Tap 360. She is a friend that I have actually got off of Facebook in a Facebook group. And I saw some work that she had done, some posts that she had done, and I was like, I love her. I don't know her, but I want to know. And so I reached out and I said, "Hey, I love the way you write and the way you communicate on Facebook. It really touches my soul. How do you do that?" And from there, here we are. And it is a fabulous relationship. And I love this woman. And so, Theresa, I am going to shut the hell up. And I'm going to let you jump in and tell everyone why you wanted to do this interview with me and why you accepted it. Thank you.
Ooh, thank you, thank you. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me. I love sitting with you, and I'm so excited. This is our first live together, but we've been on the phone quite a bit together, and we have shared each other's programs and coaching, and I love that. Love, love how you've helped me, and of course, love being able to help you. I'm so fond of this relationship, and I hope that we get to do future endeavors together always, right? We love collaboration, right? So if you're interested, please connect with us and join in on the conversation and the teachings and the shares available to you. I am Theresa King with kingconceptsnow.com, and I am a certified life and business coach, but I like to say I am a perspective detective. And I love teaching clients how to be a perspective detective in their own life, meaning that we're going to open up the hood and look around and flip it over and under and poke on it just a little bit. I do carry a naughty button every time I speak because my soul loves to be naughty. Naughty, naughty, naughty. So if you remember, we did put in a language warning. And that's another thing that I love about you. So
yeah, I have a little bit of a potty mouth. I like to refer to myself as a cussing Christian and let people judge it however they want to, because that is me. That's what I do. I don't let anybody tell me how to come across in my world and in my life, because I know what my connection is. That's just, I'm just getting comfortable with that though, for real, no lie.
I kept that hidden for the longest time as far as a professional. I kept that hidden until I read the book, Meet Your Soul. And I realized in that book, you got the book, didn't you?
I'm reading it now. I love it.
I realized in the book that my soul just loves to be naughty. And I'll admit, when I first found that out, I went a little too far. So I've reined it in just a little bit, but she loves to be naughty. And I remember that characteristic with my mother. If she could get you off in the kitchen and be a little naughty, it was hilarious. She was hilarious.
Tell me about a little bit naughty. Tell me a little bit more about that. I love that whenever you talk about that.
When I found this out, I actually was having a coffee meeting with a very religious woman. And I thought, if I'm going to freaking test this, I'm going to freaking test this today. And so we went to coffee. And I said, there's something that I want to test on you. Do you consider yourself highly religious? And she said, yeah. I said, me too. So I'm going to test this. My soul loves to be naughty. And she was like, what do you mean? And I was like, she giggles. And at that time, there was a meme going around that freaking made me cackle. I'll do it. Naughty, naughty, naughty. What the fuck? And so I tell this religious lady this. And she cackled. And I thought, oh my God, really? And she was like, really? And she still today, this was 2 years ago, she still today will send me the raunchiest memes via private messenger you've ever met. She loves to be naughty too.
I love it. And I think that's liberating to me, like to have the ability to be who you are. And if people don't like it, they just ain't your people.
Not your people.
You ain't got to be my people, because I'm not trying to serve the world.
Right.
I'm trying to serve a few. And that's the bridge, the connection of everything. Even in relationships one-on-one, I don't need 10, 15 men. I just need one man that gets me at a soul level. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so you get to be whatever you want to be, whoever you want to be, however you show up. And if somebody's offended by
it, guys, it really brought up my inner core confidence. Like when you work from soul, there's this inner core confidence that rises. You're not afraid anymore, right? You're not afraid of rejection. I'm not saying that I haven't been told I was completely out of line via private messenger, but it didn't affect me. That's not my people. It's okay. It's okay. I just let that go and just keep rising and keep finding my people. Like you. You're my people.
I'm your people. Like Benita's feeling what we're saying here. Miss Benita Claiborne is like, yes, yes, yes. And that's what I look to do in this group and even in my business and in my personal life. I don't ascribe to you can no longer make new friends, because the friends that I have are not necessarily on the same page I am in business and in life and where I am trying to go and develop. And sometimes we outgrow our friends.
Right. We do.
And so this is how it is. And sometimes we outgrow our beliefs and our understanding of what was connecting us in our past to our parents. And we no longer want to be that way. And it's okay. But it's almost like we need permission, a naughty button. Hit the button for me, Theresa. Hit the button for me.
Right.
Naughty, naughty, naughty. To say, you know what? I don't want to do that. That's not how I want to connect. You know, I don't believe it. I don't believe that there are no more good men in the world. I don't believe that all white people are this way. All Asians are. I don't believe that. I don't care what my mom said or what my dad said or what they taught me. This is who I am, and this is what my soul says. And it's the same thing about our kids, you know, and that's why, because I have a big space difference. I'm 44 years old. I have a 2.5-year-old single mom. And guess what? I have a 23-year-old single mom then too. Now I've had relationships in the middle, sure. Right. And the thing about it is it took me so long to get away from the way my mom raised me and my stepfather and what I understood, to literally get to a place where I just wanted different, you know, like I wanted something different. I was 22 when I had my daughter, very responsible, bought my first house. You know, she and I lived in a house. I worked, did what I had to do to make sure she had a decent life. She went to ballet and, you know, all these things, but I wasn't connected with her. You know, I'm not connected in the way where I webbed with her, like everything that she went through, I felt, but I didn't have a deep understanding. And I didn't have that relationship that I really wanted to have, that she was a sovereign being and had a right to experience her life, you know, and I want other people to have that understanding. For me, the first time I was even enlightened was through Dr. Shivali, Conscious Parenting. And I think that was maybe like 2015, 2014. I think Oprah must have brought her on. And I wish I had have known, you know, that there was a different way, you know, and now things are so different with these young folks. You know, the CDC classifies children as 0 to 26, you know, and that's right, because their brains aren't fully developed. You know, they think they know everything, but they don't know a damn thing. Benita's like, this is who I am. This week show at the table with Miss B and friends. The real you, stand up. I love this. Girlfriend, stand up. I know that's right. You gotta say it, but you gotta tell me more about that, Miss Benita. But I wanted to make sure I'm checking in on our comments too. But I wanted to connect better. And now, right now, in this time where you see such heightened violence, especially in the Black community, you know, there's many factors there of not even extreme poverty, but extreme work. You know, parents have 2 and 3 jobs, and the rate of, you know, married versus single households doesn't mean all of us. I know plenty of Black parents who are very married, on all different spectrums of the level, but it is very difficult for Black and brown people to not move away from what we know, and that is just to do as I say, not as I do type of mentality that doesn't foster connection. And so we find ourselves our kids moving away from us and not connecting with us and talking to us. And right now is the time where they need to talk to us, and we need to shut the fuck up. We need to shut the fuck up and listen, and try to listen from a perspective of what can I do? What can I do to help you, as opposed to why did you do it? Who told you you could do it? Anything that makes them feel like they're being accused or blamed the same way we feel. I don't want to be accused of blamed. Yeah. And so what got you into this work, and why are you passionate about doing this work with young adults and parents?
It's kind of shocking, but a very cool story too. I was a professional horse trainer, a high-end horse industry, and I had a 14-year-old client with a fabulous horse, like $250,000 horse. And the horse was awesome. I got her trained in the saddle. It took a couple of years. She could move all the body parts. They were just very, very connected, and they won, but they didn't win consistently. So as the coach, you know, I did the physical part, the saddle part, the horse part, the arena part, and all that. But I had to figure out what was taking her out of the game, the competitive game. And I'm talking big entry fees, like $350, and big checks to win it, $10,000, something like that, you know. So winning consistently was really important because the investment is so high. What I did was leave the arena and head to a restaurant with a 14-year-old. And I sit there and said, I want you to do me a favor. Between now and next week, we'll meet back here at this restaurant. I want you to make a list of every single thing that pisses you off in life.
Oh,
she was like, okay.
Oh, that's a big question.
Yeah, go back to 2 years old and just start making a list. Don't dwell on it. Get it out of you and onto paper. I want to show you something when we come back next week, right?
Just a little secret, a little tab there. I have been coached by Theresa, and it was one of my aha moments. It was really, I don't believe in a coach not having a coach. I'm gonna always have a coach. I'm always gonna get coached. But our session together for 2 hours, when you asked me that question, the list was like, oh, I got so much stuff that pisses me off. And can you imagine how much stuff our children must have if somebody would just ask?
That's what I was going to say earlier. We as parents are kind of afraid to open that can of worms, right? But truly, children, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, have a bigger list than adults will have. Like adults come in, the average is around 33 items. Young people come in with an average around 67, 69 items. So what we do is sit and look at that list, and I don't read it. It's very confidential, but I'm kind of spiritual, and I call upon higher power to pick a number for me, number 17 or number 15 or number 33. So we picked a number, and here is what she said to me. My dad's a drunk. Frickin' frackin' pissed off. So let's say she's going to Las Vegas to do a competitive run. Her dad's supposed to be there. He ends up in Atlanta, Georgia with some gal. He's under the influence. She's in the on deck circle getting ready to run for hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? And it took her out of the game emotionally. Do you know when you come out of the game emotionally, you can't connect with that horse?
Yes.
So I sat back and I said to her, the last time you really needed your parents for anything other than shelter and food, you were about 10. You're 14 now, and you're starting to design your life. And you have got to accept your father for what he can do and what he can't do. You must accept that and design your own life. So she stepped into accepting that she had to have a plan B when it came to her father, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when he shows up, I said, that's cherry on top, whipped cream. It's so fun when daddy shows up. But when he doesn't show up, you have everything you need to be the best you and design this beautiful competitive life and become the horse trainer that you really want to be, you know?
Yeah.
Not even kidding you, when we got that off the table and she could see that she was in charge of her own life, really, at 14. She really is, mentally, emotionally, right? She won, and she won consistently. And that was about 15 years ago. She's still winning. A top person in the horse industry.
I wonder how much stuff do we have on our plates
all of us
constantly take us out of the game,
you know.
And it's interesting because I don't know anything about horse riding. Although I did watch a movie this weekend on Hulu that was all about horse riding, and
It's anything. It can be dance or tennis or
it could be
baseball.
anything,
Yes.
even your jobs, even
Yes.
our job. It could actually.
Relationships.
I was gonna say, I think
Yep.
it takes us out of the game with
I
our
did.
children.
I did my coaching session with you on Saturday, and we found, you know, some things where I was off in the ditch on relationships. You really brought that home for me. And I'm going to sit down and process that and get with source and soul and self and really look at that. But it's so fun, guys, to get in as a perspective detective and poke around on all this stuff. And see, it doesn't have to be shadowy or shadow work. That's so 1980. It's not. Just step into it, and you can see how I grin. I get naughty, fucking excited to discover that stuff.
For real.
It doesn't mean we're bad. It doesn't mean we're broken. It doesn't mean we're flawed. It means that we had an experience, or 6 or 10 with that gal, you know, 6 or 10 times her dad didn't show up. We had an experience and we developed a belief like he didn't freaking care about us.
Mm-hmm.
And we truly don't need him to care about us. It's so nice when they do. That's cherry. That's whipped cream. But we don't need it.
And you know what? I'm 44 years old. And I really, really, really am just starting to understand that I do not need my mother's approval, that I do not need my aunt or my uncles or anyone else's approval to move forward. But imagine if you are 13, 14, 15, 8. Some of the parents I have worked with have their kids in 3 to 4 different sports and expect them to perform at such a high level. And I'm like, but you can't even perform at a high level on your job. You're not even performing at a high level as a parent. And you expect that this child is able to perform at piano, have an amazing grades, turn around and play at softball. And then don't forget the recitals and all the other things that they have to do. And you literally want them to perform, but it's not even about them. It's about you. Because most of the times them kids don't even want to have anything to do with it, but they'll do it to please you because they know that's what you want them to do.
We create little bitty people pleasers. My dad created a people pleaser right here. His energy when he walked in the room created this amazing people pleaser.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Energy does that, guys. Yep. Words aren't even necessary. Energy does that. It's huge.
And you know, even I'll go to my, and this is the reason it's important to me too, is because even at 44, I literally, when I was thinking about our meeting together, I thought to myself, I'm raising a son, and I don't feel any different between my daughter and my son, except she's older now, and I feel like I didn't do my job 100%. And that I could have done so much better. But is there really anything I can do now at 23? She's going to kill me when she sees this. I said 24 again. 23 or 15, 16, 17, 18. What can I do now once they're past the age of 12 and they think they know everything? Because once they start saying, I know, Mom, it's pretty much
over. Your job's over.
Can I do anything to increase her confidence, her self-worth? I mean, what can I really do?
Yes, your connection. I'm telling you, this takes all the guts you've got, but it does freaking work. If you can get an adult child to sit down with you and tell you even one thing that pisses them off about you, and you can sit there and hold space and say something like, I've never thought about it like that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I've never thought about it like that. That is not how I intended that at all. and not defend yourself, but just say, please let me process this. Let me go away from this front porch. I picture my daughter and I on that front porch, right? Let me go away from this front porch and process this, because I want to heal this wound. That is not at all what I intended for you to take away from that experience. If you can hear them and take it in and not take it personal, you're creating a safe place for them to come back to that front porch and tell you something else. A safe place for you to go to a restaurant and them say one more thing. And they'll do that for a while. Once they get where they know that you're not going to have a meltdown or get hurt or bawl and squall or say, that's not true, or you defend yourself, you know. Mm-hmm. When they get to that place where they see you're not going to overreact, that you can handle it, all of those traumas, incidents, accidents will be healed. We heal when we're heard. Your baby girl will heal when she's heard.
I'm also wondering, like, because you can really see it with older children, especially from age 15, if you allow your kids to date at that age. But to be honest, there's nothing you can do. They do what they want to do when they're at school. But you can see it in the relationships they create, whether or not they're the leader or the follower, and it's nothing wrong with whether you're a leader or a follower, because I think people get that really messed up. Well, you're such a follower. Okay, well, first of all, stop putting labels on people, because maybe they are following or mimicking in this section, but if you keep putting a label that they're a follower, then they'll be a follower in every aspect of their lives. Mm-hmm. So we have to be careful about what we call our children and say and attach those titles to. But I'm wondering, by the time they're 14, 15, and they start really honing in on who their friends are, who they want to date, there's a pattern there that is consistent all the way up until they're in their 20s. And then we go, well, why would they pick the people they picked? I mean, can you talk to maybe why they kind of get stuck there at that age and their friends?
You know, I call it domestication. And I'll tell y'all, the best book I've ever read that turned me on to domestication and the effects that it has on us is The 4 Agreements. You know, don't take things personally, always do your best, The 4 Agreements. That's a fabulous book. It's a quick read, but it talks about domestication. And I do this with my clients. I just did it Sunday. I have a couple in Arizona that are putting their 17-year-old in my Youth Elevated program. Mom said, he doesn't want to do that. Will it still work? I was like, girl, there has never been a teenager that said, oh yes, Mom and Dad, I would love to get on the phone and talk to a complete stranger about all my stuff and things. Yes, please, sign me up. You know, they're just not going to do that. Teenagers are like, hell no, don't do this to me. Anyway, where was I headed? I explained to the parents, and I'll explain to the 17-year-old when I get him on the phone, that when we're 2-ish, our people that are guiding us and keeping us out of the ditch and keeping us alive say no, hey, no, don't touch that. No, you can't go in there. No, right?
Yeah.
So by the time we're 10, we're like, I am sick and tired of your nose. My wings are flapping. I have something called the bird nest syndrome, where those kids' wings are starting to flap and they're standing on the edge of that nest, you know, and the parents have them by the back of the neck going, no, you can't jump out of this nest. You have no feathers. You will splatter. I promise you. You have no feathers. You can't fly. Right?
And it's like, but I know that you will splatter. I know that if you do this, that you will be the talk of the town. I know that if you do this, that this will happen. And it happens every time, because it's human nature. It just is how it shows up over and over. It happens to my parents, their parents, the parents before that. It doesn't matter about social media. It just kind of happens. But it seems like they care so much about what everybody else thinks
Right.
besides what I think. And I'm not saying that I'm the gospel, but kids don't give a damn about what parents think, but they do care
Right.
about what other people think. Is there something that we can do
Mhm.
that helps them change their
Yes.
perspective?
Yes. After the pissed offness list, we move over to a column that I call the 3 S's. How did that incident that you're so pissed off about affect your first S, self-esteem? You get those kids to talk about how it affected their self-esteem. And then you ask them, how does that affect your security? What's security about? Your acceptance in the cliques at school. Security is about the roof over your head. You know, would your parents really kick you out if you did blah, blah, blah? I mean, your security, you don't really want teenagers feeling like they have to behave or they'll be homeless, right? So they look at their security and their 97% responsibility in that, you know. And then next is their sensuality, and we as adults call it sexuality, sensuality and sexuality, how they feel in that connection with this person that you're talking about. What? And you ask them, why did you connect with Allison? What is it about Joseph that you love? You know, why, what is it that attracts you to them or them to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
What creates y'all's mojo together? You just ask them those questions instead of standing over and evaluating that as if you know what that connection feels like. Your child has to give you that information.
Oh, my bad.
What happened?
I'm thinking about my daughter, and I'm like, because I have a really good sense of people, and I'm very intuitive. I mean, almost to a fault. Like, I can read somebody and I pick up on what's been said and what I've been told. And I'm going to tell you, I immediately go into mommy judge mode. I don't think I have ever, in the 23 years, asked one time,
What is
so
it about?
what do you see in her? Why you feel like? I immediately go into why you shouldn't. And actually, that's like, as soon as you ask somebody why, they're defensive.
Yep.
I'm defensive if you ask me why. Well, why'd you water the plant like that?
Mm-hmm.
Why you ask me why? I never thought of that.
I got to ride with my granddaughter to an event I was speaking at, and she got to go with me. So we're in the car together. I love those moments. And she was talking about a boyfriend. I'm like, holy cow, she's 12. I said, have you designed what it is that you want in your life regarding a boyfriend? She was like, no. I was like, girl, you got to do that. What does that look like, Skylar? What is it that you're wanting at 12 years old regarding a boyfriend? And you know what? She spoke to it. She was able to tell me he's polite. He includes family. He's willing to ask my dad if he can date me. I mean, there was a list of things that she spoke to.
Hold it. I can stop you. See,
What?
What we're not gonna do. This is how we would go. This is Tanya 10 years ago. What we're not gonna do is talk about having no boyfriend. What we're not gonna do, your daddy, your boyfriend. That's who your boyfriend. You need to concentrate on them books because your grades don't depict the fact that you need to be having any other entity. You let that young boy get into your pants if you want to. You're gonna be the person that they talking about in the locker room. You understand? Don't you let nobody in my house. Don't you let nobody in my house. This is the conversation that I would have had 10 years ago. Today, when you say that, it did trigger me a little bit. It did. It made me go, my skin went, oh, why are we talking to a 12-year-old about what they want?
When you think about it, I'm bringing her over here and allowing her the opportunity to look at what it is she's truly doing, designing her life.
Once I took my ego out of it,
sorry,
and I heard, no, I'm sorry, because you know I talk too much, Theresa, you know that. So
there was zero resistance from her. She was able to speak to what it is she was fond of regarding him.
Because you gave her space. and you gave her the opportunity to think for herself without all of the judgment, without all of the criticism. And I think to myself, if I was 12 years old and my mother had have said that, I probably would have ended up with 3 abortions by the time I'm at a certain age. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you're going to keep it real.
But not if you're designing your life.
Not if not if somebody gave me the space to talk about it and to think about it. You know what I'm saying? And those are all the things that we sit with in shame and guilt, but you're sitting in a shameful place when ain't nobody ever told you what it was. Nobody told you, what would happen or gave you the space to help you think for yourself. You literally gave her space to think for herself. And that is amazing, even though my instincts were immediately triggered, like, why are we talking to a 12-year-old about what her plan? Why are we not talking to a 12-year-old? Same with her friends. Why are we not saying, so what would you like in a really good friend?
Yeah, huge. Huge. The art of asking questions is huge. The art of asking questions. I wrote down a note here that I wanted to say. One of them was take your head and go put it in the closet. I'll give you an example of that one. Oh, we don't need answers. We need better questions. Question everything. So all I did was question her about her intention in aligning with this 13-year-old. She's 12. I questioned everything about her alignment with that 13-year-old. And intuitively, she gave some pretty damn good answers, right? But I was also able to lead her into the next part of that and say, by the time you're 15, 16, 17, in the design of your life, you'll want to look at how you want to be as far as sexually active as well, right? And you'll want to plan that the way you want it to be. You want to plan everything that you want to do, be, and have. So it's important that she understands that, and they just kind of sit there like, damn, this is fun. This is kind of grown-up talk. They're trying to be grown-ups, but here's some real grown-up talk filled with questions like, how will you do that? What will that look like?
That little piece is so powerful. Like, even today, I see how it's relevant. And I have younger adults that are in my life now that I like to be a role model for. So in between my 2-year-old and, I have godchildren and nieces and nephews that I have adopted, that I now have a different perspective of how, because I kept saying, because some of them listen. I got quite a few of them who listen, and my communication style works for them. But I have some of them that just are off in la la land. They might as well really be my kids living in the same household with me. But this is so amazing, and I can see how I can use this particular strategy with them and opening that doorway to help them think for themselves instead of me parroting and giving them all the information that, number one, half of the information they don't see on my level anyway.
What I asked these parents Sunday when I met with them both online, what I asked them was, do you want your child to grow up like you? They were like, not necessarily. Then stop giving them your beliefs. We want to stop giving them our beliefs. Personally, as a nanny bear, I don't want my 12-year-old granddaughter seeing any boy that's 13. That made my skin shrivel.
Yeah.
But it's already in play. And these days, it is in play. Let's give them the tools to get down to the foundational basics of designing their life as they go and being able to create a safe place where they can call us and talk to us about anything. I'm that kind of girl. I'm that kind of nanny bear. And I'm that kind of mom.
And that's the kind of parent I want to be. I don't want to be the parent that says, because it just don't work. If it worked, we wouldn't be in a position that we're in now. And it don't matter whether the kids are black, white, or indifferent. It don't matter, because it's the same reciprocal thing, to be honest. If we want to be honest with ourselves, there are different levels of situations and access, but children are children. They all suffer the same type of trauma and conflict and drama. And it doesn't matter what color, it doesn't matter what religion, it doesn't matter. And so the conversation is important for everyone, whether you're a mom or a dad. And so I really think I'm going to put this on the outside of my Facebook group, because I think it's important. It's an important conversation that we connect. And so the other thing that I see with kids and with adults, so this is a big question to me, is feeling lonely and feeling like, I don't think they really get that they're attracting the wrong people. But what is your thoughts on how they can get past being low? Because when they get into an argument or get into fights with other friends or their groups, or they start to feel alienated, as a parent, we say, oh, don't worry about that. They're just jealous. It's not the answer. You know what I'm saying? How do we help them attract the right, I think you had a piece of it with what you said about opening up that question and saying, what do you want in a friend? What do you want in a relationship? But how do we help them not be lonely? I mean, I feel bad when my kid feels like she, all of her friends are mad at her or whatever. How do we help them? I don't know.
I'm going to tell you another story. In the horse business, I worked with a 10-year-old. And if you think a 10-year-old can't handle this, you're completely wrong. Fucking handled it, right? So I talked to her parents. She too had done all she could do in the physical horseness. She had everything she needed in the saddle, and she was heading into big time competition. So I talked to the parents and I said, what label do you use regarding, I use the God of my understanding, source, universe, higher power. What do you guys use? And they said God. So I taught her this gift that I want to offer you guys today too. It's on the front page of my website, down at the bottom, my greatest gift. We teach our kids to start writing to the God of their understanding. And I don't care what label you use there. If you believe that there is an energy greater than you that supports you and loves you, you got to teach kids how to build a relationship with higher power. Now, this is how that went. It goes, for me, this is how I teach it. And y'all can write anything you want to. Mine says, Dear God, thank you so much. The first paragraph is about gratitude, and I teach this to kids. The second paragraph is, I'm calling upon you today because I have questions, and I'd like for you to lead me and guide me and show me, right? Mm-hmm. And then I teach them to lay their pen down and just listen. I tell them, even at 10 years old, it kind of feels like a whisper when you hear what it is you're being told or guided or feeling, okay? When you hear that, pick up your pen and write it down. Now with this 10-year-old, I was in the back seat of the truck when I taught this. Permission from the parents who were in the front seat driving. She took the pen, she did what I walked her through, she laid the pen down, then I saw her pick up the pen and write this message. And then she took that journal and stuck it over in front of my face. And y'all, this gives me goosebumps. It was freaking 5 years ago. And she said like this, and it said, Maggie, you have everything you need. She's 10. She did not come up with that on her own.
Yeah.
So back to your question, when you talk about feeling lonely and left out, if you teach your kids how to have a relationship where they can talk to the God of their understanding about these challenges that they go through on the daily. That little girl, 10 years old, said, I use that on my teacher. I wrote to God about my teacher. She's kind of picking on me, and I'm a big people pleaser in class. I do everything that she wants, so they were having a conundrum, right?
Yeah.
Their mojo was messed up. Instead of asking that teacher or going to the principal or getting her mama involved or whatever kids do, she wrote to God, laid that pen down, and listened for what she could do. under the guidance of the God of her understanding.
And I love that, the God of understanding, because I think a lot of times so many people are stuck in the religion and not the spirituality.
It's a relationship.
Stuck.
And prayer is asking, and meditation, which laying your pen down and focusing on the breath, is the listening. And a 10-year-old can get that.
And I'm going to tell you what, a 2-year-old can get it, because I had a situation with my son and some friends of us. This was in the last maybe 3 months, 2 months. This is summer. And he's 2 years old and he is wilder than a coon. I ain't gonna, this boy, calm and everything. I'm like, if you could see a little baby raccoon that just was let loose in your house, this is my son, right? And so literally we had some friends come in from New York, from Harlem to visit. In the young lady that was with us, Tracy, is a house manager. You know, they call the housemate. That's what rich people call what I consider on pair or a nanny. But you know, anywho, they got a house manager, and this is what she does professionally. And she is amazing because her spirit said, "Ryan, I'm gonna try something." She said, "Can I try something with him?" Ryan, sit down. Let's cross her legs. And I'm looking at her like, "Girl, you retarded. She ain't, baby ain't gonna cross his damn legs. He about to go off on you and start showing off in a minute." But whatever, I'll let you. Sure, you go ahead. Sure, try it. So he crossed his legs and she said, "I want you to listen and we're going to do a little fun thing. We're going to have fun play. And I want you to breathe. And I want you to breathe." He did it for maybe 30 seconds and then he was off and running doing his own thing. Guess what? To this day, do you know what this kid says to me whenever there's this energy of frustration? Kind of goes back to the horse. They can feel your energy. People think that nobody can feel you. People can feel when you're angry. If I go like this and I'm still pissed off, people know it. They feel it in your aura and your energy. They can feel it through the screen, literally. So whenever I'm getting this energy, he looks at me and he says, "Mommy, are you angry? You need to take a breath. Breathe."
Oh, wow. That's what I'm talking about, too.
And you know what? I look over at him and I say, "Okay."
Yeah,
I feel it go. 2 years old. So if a 2-year-old can do it, we as adults can do it. And most certainly anybody in between can do it.
Yeah.
That is such an important thing. You know, you guys, if y'all don't get anything out of this conversation, you know, which you will, there are so many gems in this conversation right now. I really think we need to do this again and go even deeper. I really do. But number one is how you communicate with your children is what I'm hearing, Theresa. And, you know, opening up that platform for them to literally be able to step into presence and become aware on their own instead of you telling them what to do all the time. Give them that space. And that's kids anywhere from age 7 to however old your children are. You know what I'm saying? Whether 36, 46, it doesn't matter, they're your children. Opening that dialogue up, because even as parents and we have older kids, I've seen people 35 still trying to tell their 45-year-old kids what to do. So, you know, it's space for that. You know, well, what are you trying? What do you want to do?
Yeah. Is your mom asking you questions?
My mother always never asks anything. She makes the assumption and she either gives you a judgmental look or she makes you feel judged or unaccepted, or, and you know, that's her style.
That's
but
because she has no tools. That's because she has no tools. You and I have tools. The audience, you guys are incorporating tools. When you have tools, I teach this in my coaching sessions. You're sitting on the couch with a toolbox beside you. It came from your parents, and the tools in their toolbox came from their parents.
Yep.
You and I have got to get new tools and get in there and make sure we're gifting them to our children and grandchildren. That's another reason to invest in yourself and learn and grow and evolve. It's a legacy that you're leaving to your son, to your grandchildren, every time you open your mouth.
Totally agree.
Every time you walk in the room, your energy. I love the spirit of the horse. Of course, that's a foundational principle where I started my career in horse training. But the spirit of the horse is somewhat like a deer. They rise and they notice from 50 feet away. And we humans have that same capacity to rise and to see from 50 feet away, to feel from 50 feet away. And your children and your grandchildren are feeling all of that.
Yeah.
All of it.
I love it. Theresa, I want to thank you, and I really honor you for giving me and my audience the time to come in and share your knowledge and leave us with multiple tools that we can incorporate and strategies we can incorporate in our lives. I also believe these are very much tools that you can actually incorporate with a partner as well. I think you really can. It's real. They're amazing. It's an amazing set of tools that you've brought to the table, and I'm really grateful for that. And I really thank you for this opportunity to share your time with us. I thank my audience for being here and hearing us. And Benita, thank you for the comments. I'm sorry it wasn't as good. Benita, Michelle, Yolanda, you guys who popped in, Nicole, I love you very much. I'm so glad you guys were here to hear this. I will post this in our Facebook group. I most likely will probably post this on the outside and probably post it on Instagram, because I think we desperately need this conversation to be in the community. We need more of these conversations and more of this dialogue for our children. And I am so honored that you were here. So can you please tell my group here how, if they wanted to work with you, how could they do that? How could they reach you?
Well, thank you, Tanya. You're such a blessing in my life. And I know together that we are both working day and night beautifully to create change throughout the nation and across the ocean. So blessings to you for including me in your process of doing that, you know?
Absolutely.
At kingconceptsnow.com, there's a 2-hour test drive. I've been a volunteer for like 24 years. I moved my volunteerism to my business, especially with the pandemic when it started. I just knew that there's people out there that needed help. So it's a 2-hour test drive, complimentary. It's how I serve as a volunteer. If I can help you, I want to do that. On the first page, I have a gift down at the bottom, my greatest gift. You can print it and you can start using it today. And by the way, I don't capture emails. I may in other areas someday, but you can go get that without leaving your damn email. And the third one is under About and More. There's 5 tips that would help you get started on transitioning. You know, those don't cost anything. Go print them. Play with them for 30 days and see how you feel. Can I recap with my little notes before we leave?
Absolutely. I would love it, because Tammy just came in and started watching. And so I would love a short recap for her. Tammy, you can go back and watch this. It's so good, Tammy. Just watch it. Check it out. It's really good. So please recap.
These are little whispers that follow me in every conversation. Number 1 is words do not teach. They touch. Words don't teach anyone anything. They touch their heart and their soul. We heal. Number 2, we heal when we're heard. Be willing to let your children get those thorns out of them and onto paper. Allow them to share what's hurting them. You know, I had a little girl, 14, in Australia, that said, my mom isn't doing anything and asking me to do everything, right? So we went back to mom, and they're in front of each other and said, if that's true, now you know why there's dissension. You guys look at that, you'll be fine. Honor each other. And Mom was like, one conversation and all that cleared. Number 3, no teenager has ever said, yes, put me in. I want to talk to this. I want to talk to this nanny bear about all my stuff and things. They're not going to do it. Just put them in the program and allow me to facilitate this healing between you two, especially if you're really off track, right?
Yeah.
Number 4 is my gifts. Number 5, we talk too much. We Americans talk too much. Yeah. I'm talking too much right now. We're overtime, right? But Sunday, I had a visit with parents that are putting a 17-year-old into my youth elevated program. They got off of the phone with me and went and told him, well, they're not paying for it until the 21st. So he threw a big fit, and he has to carry all that nasty mojo until the 21st when he can get his link to book, and he's going to come into the program even more pissed. Why didn't they just stay quiet? Why didn't they pray, dear God, thank you for this opportunity to help Caleb, blah, 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 blah. And how can we hold space and be of service? And that would have been just to be quiet until the day they paid for it and then send him his link, right?
Mm-hmm.
We talk too much. We got to go tell him what we're doing, how we're going to control him here. It backfires. It ruins their energy. Zip it and listen and ask questions. Take your head and put it in the closet. Our head is full of all old knowledge from our mom and our grandparents and our teachers and all these people. Get down in the soul. Get down in the heart. I call it 3 S's. Work from source and soul and self.
Mm-hmm. If you guys have any questions, drop them right now. This is your time to ask questions about anything. I can see this. If you see me keep looking over, it's because I'm looking at my phone at the same time. Please drop the questions and I'll ask them really quickly. If you guys are out of time and you got to go, this will be in our Facebook group. Thank you, Theresa. Keep going. I'm listening.
Number 7 is, can you speak without saying a word? Ooh, this is big. You can write soul to soul. You can sit down tonight and say, dear Keith, my son, I'm writing to you tonight from my soul to your soul. And you can tell Keith everything that your soul feels in honor of him and in love and in adoration of him. You can speak to your son's soul without ever saying a word to them. Never give them that letter. You can write to them 14 days straight. When you need it, rinse and repeat. You can talk to people who have passed. You can talk to your mother. You can talk to anyone, soul to soul. It's beautiful. And the last one is, remember I talked about this, we don't need answers. We need way better, massive questions.
Yes. Yep. I love it. Thank you so much. One more time, tell them where they can reach you. And then we are out of here. I don't see any questions. I see a lot of, loves and likes. I appreciate you for your loves and likes. Thank you guys. So if you have come up with any questions you have for this, and you go back and listen to it, please feel free to send me a private message. I can forward it to Theresa, or you can find her at Theresa King. She's in all of these posts. You can reach out to her directly about TAP 360. I'm trying to tell you, she's amazing. The 2 hours I have done myself, absolutely amazing. Really, really some powerful stuff that we have here. And I'm blessed that you're offering it to my group of people because it's a big deal, so I'm really thankful. Thank you very much. One more time, where can we reach you? You're on mute.
My speaker may have quit. It says it's quit. Can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you. It's off.
It's on.
Yeah, there you
go. KingConceptsNow.com.
Yep.
And also anywhere on Facebook, it's Theresa King Now.
Yes. So I love you, man.
I love you too. We're doing this again, or series or something. We're doing something.
We gotta do something. We gotta do
You're
something.
fabulous.
We gotta
love
do
you
that.
guys big. Thanks for allowing us to share.
And I am Tanya Emanuel. I own Coach360. www.coach360.com. You guys already know where to meet me. If you need any more about me, you can find in the description. But this really was about bringing parents and children and their teens and their young adults together. I wanted this to be instrumental to give back to you and your family. This is a winner. Check it out if you just dropped in. Hear more about it. I love you. Take care.
Yeah.
And
share it around. Your neighbor might need it.
Love you 360. Goodbye.
Love you guys.